is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time for the best 60 minutes of your life. This is the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner, Homer.
The best and busiest 60 minutes of your day, the Homer Hour with Rainman, 1-800-990-3776. 1-800-990-3776. The Corbless talk and text line. List is more, but this is for Rainman. Caller number 5. We have 4 people tied with 7. I think somebody might beat that today. 1-800-990-3776. And while Pebble's doing that, we do have to get the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question based on the discussion that I had about the Packers. I don't know. Do you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this season? That's my first Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. I'm expecting like 2%, 5%. At some point, it'll be, well, do you think the Packers will make the Super Bowl? Do you think the Packers will make the NFC Championship game? Do you think the Packers will win the division? Do you think the Packers will win a playoff game? Those are all the different ones. And I don't want to put them all together. I want them all separate. Starting with, will the Packers win the Super Bowl in 2025? 1-800-990-3776, of course, is the Rainman caller number 5. Caller number 5. But this is separate because it's important that if, in fact, the Packers were to win the Super Bowl, the people will admit how amazing it was. It was not amazing when they won with Brett Favre. They were a outstanding team the previous year. Only the historically good Cowboys were good enough to beat them, and they were ahead of the Cowboys. The Packers were one of the favorites, I think probably the favorite, to win the Super Bowl the next year. And then when they got to the Super Bowl the following year, they were the favorite as well. 2010, they certainly were not the favorite. They were a 6th seed, but by the end of the season, I'd have to check. I would think they were one of the favorites because their statistics were so impressive. But there's nobody picking the Packers to win the Super Bowl, which means that if they do it, they deserve the appropriate amount of credit for how amazing it was. I'm trying to think the last time a team accomplished something in this state that would be as amazing as the Packers winning the Super Bowl this year. You can help me out. I'm thinking back to when Wisconsin got to the Rose Bowl the first time with Barry Alvarez, like his 3rd year or whatever with Brent Moss. And that was
like 93, 94?
Yeah, there was not a person alive who thought that Wisconsin was going to get to the Rose Bowl. I'm trying to think in terms of achievements that you have to do of some significance. Maybe the first time Wisconsin made the Final Four, I don't know how surprising that was. Certainly the next year when they lost in the championship game wasn't surprising at all. None of those. That's what you're hoping for. Or let's assess, and maybe it'll get not that crazy, but I don't see how the 49ers would be picked ahead of the Packers. But all right, 1-800-990-3776. Pebble, have you had time to put up the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question?
It is up right now at the Homer Hour at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Will the Packers win the Super Bowl this season?
Do you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this season?
Yeah.
Early on in the voting process
I'm guessing
now,
5%.
67% say no, 33% say
God
yes.
help them all. Come on. We'll see. They might not make many votes. And if the percentage to win the Super Bowl is high, then that just means there's more work to be done for people to understand how amazing it would be. And we can maybe try to find some other team and season where you can say it would be that incredible. For example, the biggest misconception is when NC State beat Houston to win the national championship. NC State was one of the top teams in the country. It's like when Hickory won the Hoosiers. They were one of the top teams. It was not. What was surprising was how perfect they had to be, given they had to win their conference, and all because they had a very serious injury. But NC State was one of the top, say going into the season, maybe one of the top 5 teams in the country. Villanova, the year they beat Georgetown, I think would have to be viewed as a bigger upset, though they had played Georgetown close. But, this would be similar to Wisconsin when they got to the Rose Bowl the first time, won the Rose Bowl under Barry Alvarez. But it's worthy of further analysis. 1-800-990-3776. But if 1 out of every 3 people believe that the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl, that speaks to the people voting, not to the chance.
Right now it's up to 63% no, 37% yes.
Yeah, it should be about 10%, 12 maybe. But that's fine. That just tells how much work there needs to be done to understand the level. I could accept as high as 20%, given they were top 10 in offense and defense last year, which is a very good sign. 1-800-990-3776. Jason Wilde will be on at about 5:30. We'll see what he would vote. Well, I know what he'd vote. But no. And the next one will be, maybe not today, will they get to the Super Bowl? Will they win the division? Will they make the NFC Championship game? And then will they make the playoffs? I don't know what the 5th one would be. I'll let Pebble work on that. It is time for Rainman. Rainman is brought to you by Cousin Subs. They're so nice. Partially because the ending of the competition, which is the end of June, they give out Cousin Subs for a year worth about $300. But more than that, they give out way more than $300 in the process of $25 a week to the contestant, even if the contestant stinks. You get the $25 gift card even if you get every question wrong. So thanks to Cousin Subs for that. And our other great partner is Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service, and, as I have added appropriately in recent times, over 50 years doing it well. That's how they can be so good. That's how the complicated they can make simple as far as employee benefits. They've been doing it that well for that long. Better than 50 years. I should probably get the exact number. I'm guessing it's probably like 57, something like that. And Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, doing it well for over 50 years. Phone number you can remember, 783. All you got to know is 783-262-783. Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
Where are we at as far as the votes
We are
now?
tied with the votes.
Yeah.
On the Homer Hour on Twitter, at ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter, as I refresh it here. We're up to 61% no, 39% yes.
39% believe the Packers could win the Super Bowl.
We're through 28 votes right now.
Wow. All right, we'll see what happens over time. Joining us now is Scott in Racine. Scott, good evening, and please, your Rainman resume.
What Rainman? What resume? What
Have you ever done it before?
No.
Oh, Pebble, would you like? Do you listen to Rainman so you know what you have to do or not? You just want the $25 gift card?
I'm not sure. I just retired, so I'm sitting out on the front deck.
Oh,
So having Red Stripe beer. So.
yeah, and you're going to have a $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. Good for you. Smart.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys, so yeah.
All right, Pebble, any advice? I would give it, Scott, but no one ever listens to me.
15 questions is the homework's going to give you. You have 2 minutes to go through all 15 questions. If you don't know the answer, say skip or pass. We'll come back to it because you don't want to run out of time. You want to get through all 15 questions in the 2 minutes.
Generally, to get it correct,
Okay.
what would you say, Pebble? 88% of people get the answer very soon.
Correct, yes.
The longer they wait,
Yeah.
they almost never get it. In fact, sometimes when they do get it, it's when they pass quickly, and then it hits their brain a little bit later. The first question is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question because Saganiac Planning has been such a great supporter of Marquette. So it is about Marquette. You ready to go, Scott? Any other questions? You get to ask questions.
Nope,
when it's your
I'm
first
good.
time. You ready to go? 3, 2, 1,
Yep,
go.
I'm good.
Name the Marquette star not taken in the NBA draft, played 15 years and twice for the Bucks.
Pass.
How old is Giannis?
28.
Incorrect. How many NBA titles for LeBron James?
3.
Incorrect. How many NBA titles for Steph Curry?
2.
Incorrect. How many years did Curry play at Davidson?
4.
Incorrect. Name a member of the 1956 Olympic gold medal U.S. men's basketball team.
Pass.
In college, legendary singer Johnny Mathis hit 5'7", high jump 6'5.5" to break a stadium record held by a future Basketball Hall of Fame center. Name that center.
Pass.
Who is the coach of the Denver Nuggets?
It changed. I don't know. They changed it. I hope we get the other guy.
All right, with what pick was Tyrese Halliburton taken in the 2020 NBA draft?
Second.
Incorrect. What high school did he lead to a state high school basketball title?
In Waukesha.
Incorrect. Third inning, Jackson Cheerio today with a walk this afternoon. How many was that for the season? How many walks on the season now for Jackson Cheerio?
5.
Incorrect. Who is the coach of the San Antonio Spurs?
Rick Adelman.
Incorrect. Brewers' first year in Milwaukee. What year?
1971.
Incorrect. According to the Baseball Reference, the best base stealer ever for the Brewers, successful 88.61% of the time.
Pass.
Name a Brewer other than Paul Molitor with a career Brewers batting average over 300. This is your chance. So you don't. Has anybody gotten 0 before, Pebble?
I think somebody had.
All right. This is it. You have 0 or 1. Name a Brewer other than Paul Molitor with a career Brewers batting average over 300.
Robin Yount.
Robin Yount is, tell him, Pebble. Incorrect. On Ophir, but it doesn't matter. Scott and Racine, even though he sucked, still gets his $25 gift card. Now listen closely. I believe Pebble will get 12. You ready to go?
Ready, yeah.
All right. Name the Marquette star not taken in the NBA draft, played 15 years and twice for the Bucks.
Yeah, I have no clue on that.
Wesley Matthews.
Wesley Matthews.
Yes. How old is Giannis?
30.
30, that's correct. How many NBA titles for LeBron James?
4.
4, that's 2. How many NBA titles for Steph Curry?
4.
That's correct, that's 3. How many years did Curry play at Davidson?
3.
3, correct. Now you're at 4 correct answers. Name a member of the 1956 Olympic gold medal U.S. men's basketball team.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is correct. Now you have 5. This is my favorite question. In college, legendary singer Johnny Mathis. Have you ever heard of Johnny Mathis, Scott? Probably not.
Yes, I have.
Okay, Johnny Mathis. He was 5'7". He high jumped 6'5.5" to break a stadium record that was held by what future Basketball Hall of Fame center who used to compete against Johnny Mathis? I left that out.
Oh, Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is correct. I didn't know that Mathis broke his record at one arena. All right, 6 he's got. I said, what did I say, 12?
Yeah.
Who is coach of the Denver Nuggets?
David Alderman.
That is correct. Adelman, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. With what pick was Tyrese Halliburton taken in the 2020 NBA draft?
12th.
12th is correct. He's at 8. He's got 8 in a row. What high school did Halliburton lead to a state high school basketball title?
Oshkosh North.
Oshkosh North. He's at 9 in a row. Third inning, Jackson Cheerio with a walk in this afternoon's game against Houston. How many was that for the season?
3?
3 is correct. He's got 10 in a row. Who's coach of the San Antonio Spurs?
Mitch Johnson.
That's 11 in a row. Are you feeling bad yet, Scott, or are you honoring Pebble? Got 11 in a row.
I'm honoring them.
You missed all 11 of them. Brewers' first year in Milwaukee. You were close.
69?
Incorrect. 1970. Seattle played 69. His first miss. According to Baseball Reference, the best, this is a tough question, best base stealer ever for the Brewers, successful 88.61% of the time.
2 are going in my head. I'm going to say Paul Molitor.
All right, and then the other one?
I was going to say Pat Listach.
Christian Yelich.
Ah.
He had 80. The other ones have more, but they got caught more. 88.61%. That's amazing. Missed that. And I guarantee you Pebble will get this. Name a Brewer other than Paul Molitor with a career Brewers batting average over 300. There are 3.
Jeff Cirillo.
Jeff Cirillo's
Kevin
one.
Seltzer, and
Kevin Seitzer.
Cecil Cooper.
Cecil Cooper. Those are the 3. Kevin Seitzer is, by the way, Scott, you should know this, the part of the greatest nickname I ever came up with, which I sent to Chris Berman, and I don't know that he used it. Kevin Alka-Seitzer. You got to admit, that's pretty good, isn't it, Pebble?
That is good.
That is good. I don't feel bad for Scott. Scott got a $25 gift card. I feel bad for all the listeners that were wondering, come on, Scott! But Pebble helped us out. Of all that you missed, which is the one that you're most disappointed in yourself that you should have known?
Probably the batting average.
Yeah.
For the Brewers.
Yep.
Actually, I was a year off, too, for the year that they started.
Yeah, you were pretty close on a couple, but still. Ofer. And the next time you compete, Scott, you'll be known as Ofer. Ofer and Racine is going to give it another shot. And if you get it again, you'll get the $25 gift card again. Thanks for playing.
Hey, thank you, sir.
I got to admit, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be if someone got an Ofer.
He might very well be our first. I know somebody's gotten 1 before.
Yeah, no, I think he's the first one with 0. And
well
to be.
Did Chef Egg get 0?
I don't think so. And there are zeros and then there are zeros. Pebble, he wasn't close to almost every one except for about 2 or 3. He was NBA titles for LeBron James. I think he had 3. Yes, Wesley Matthews, the greatest Marquette free agent in NBA history, did not get drafted and played 15 years. He didn't play this year, and twice, 2 different times he played for the Bucks. But yes, my favorite one, and
high jump one, isn't it?
I couldn't think Johnny Mathis could be a high jumper. I thought he was he's 5'7". So he's 5'7". At this arena, wherever, I think it was, I can't remember what school it was, but Bill Russell, who was at San Francisco, had set the record at 6'5". Johnny Mathis, I don't even remember what school he went to. He goes to the same arena and does 6'5.5". He's 5'7". Bill Russell is 6'9". Somebody 5'7", high jumping 6'5.5".
Yeah, it says here Johnny Mathis went to San Francisco State.
Correct. He was a good basketball player. He could have gone to the Olympic trials. However, he had some arrangement for a singing thing, and so he passed on the trials. And I was never really certain that it was a high jump. I thought maybe it was the long jump because he's so short. If you look it up, he used to have a golf tournament, and I think it was maybe in Memphis. And when they did the Johnny Mathis tournament, they used to talk about how many hole-in-ones he had. I think he has double-digit hole-in-ones. I think it was like, and I remember thinking, come on, he can't be that good. Well, if they would have mentioned how good a basketball and track star he was, I will have to ask a 7.5. That would be John Anderson.
He says he made 9 holes into 1 since he first took up golf. Yeah,
which is understandable given how good an athlete he must be. I think he's still alive. Is Johnny Mathis still alive? I don't think he's dead. Because if he was, then they would tell that story, I would think.
He's 89.
89. So, but I would like to know, somebody can look this up, the person with the highest high jump over their own height. For example, he was 8.5 inches higher than his height. How many people have high jumped 8.5 inches higher than their own height? I mean, if you did 7-something, Pat Matsdorf, it's probably pretty close to that, but 8.5 inches higher than his height. Johnny Mathis, the high jump. Yes, broke Bill Russell's record. That might be one of the great trivia questions ever. Jason Wilde coming up. Not next. I'm next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Still dealing with issues out on the roads. Obviously going to be slow pretty much all over the place. We've got westbound 894 with the left shoulder blocked with a crash right in the Hale interchange. We've got another crash on 43 heading northbound through the Marquette, and it's off on the right shoulder. And then we've also got some delays along westbound 94 right through the stadium interchange, again from 84th Street into Waukesha County, heading past Moreland Road, and from about Blue Mound Road to the west, all the way to about Highway F. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, breezy, a low of 42. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51 at the lake, 61 inland. Weather is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Mother's Day is coming soon. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Ben Brust to help you out with the Welky's Mother's Day giveaway. From now through May 7th, open up the new ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to win. The winner gets a one-night stay at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, a gift card to one of St. Kate's restaurants, and of course, a big bouquet straight from Welky's Milwaukee Florist. The perfect gift for the mom in your life. Register today at the ESPN Wisconsin app. You can also get 10% off at Welky's Milwaukee Florist on any order by mentioning ESPN at checkout. It's the Welky's Mother's Day giveaway on ESPN Milwaukee.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Fat Daddy's Milwaukee, Rivals Kenosha, Lucky Clover Milwaukee, DJ's Goalpost Menominee Falls, and Mecca's Sports Bar Milwaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins 2-foot party subs are back. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99. Feeds 5 to 8 people and requires 24-hour notice to order. And now you can complete your party by adding a party chip bag and a dozen chocolate chip cookies for just $4.99. Order today in store, online, or on the app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
On Thursday, May 22nd, join Sharp Literacy for the 9th annual Unwrapped Milwaukee fundraising event from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at 3rd Street Market Hall. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food. Top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based educational program serving thousands of urban elementary students in 47 Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine schools. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Yes. Ofer, our first Ofer, I think. I think Chef Ed says that he had 0, but I think that's the first one ever. It was bad, not as bad as I thought. The Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, do you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl? 33% say yes. Now, we might have to ask next, do you think the world's flat? I mean, I don't know how much you can discount it just because it's Twitter. 33%. You're smoking crack with your grandma. Probably should have 1-800-990-3776 or go to YouTube and let people comment or explain how they believe the Packers are going to the Super Bowl. 7 seed the last 2 years. Going to win the Super Bowl. The best answer would be they were top 10 in offense and defense last year. And Jordan Love, but Fisco Auto Body. Tell people to go there so you'll like them and then you'll like me because you'll have an auto body place forever. They are so good. And how? Because it's a family business owned since 1931 and still in the family. So it's not what they do, it's who they are. Imagine at what age these people started doing this. They've been doing it so long, it's so easy, though they won't tell you that, but their quality of work will convince you of that. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Yes, generation after generation, the Fiscos are still doing it. And eventually you'll thank me and say, wow, thanks for telling me about them, Homer. And it helps my reputation. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Don't give the location enough. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, so you remember the name. Has the people believing the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl under 30% yet? Please say yes. Please say yes, Pebble. Please.
It is not, no. Right now we're at 33%.
Yeah. From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after an in-depth recap of every Bucs game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucs in 6 on the Bucs Plus Audio Network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucs in 6 provides game recaps every morning after you hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Dame. Catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucs in 6 on the Bucs Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucs.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. Is this the proper time to read this, Pebble? Do they still do it? Season's over.
I'm sure they do off-season stuff.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure they do off-season stuff.
Okay, all right. By the way, somebody mentioned and showed how stupid the rule was when Halliburton got his rebound off the missed free throw. He was in the lane long before the ball hit the rim, which is a violation. To which I tweeted, because there's also the issue of the player that was running from behind earlier, and you're supposed to be behind the three-point line, not even behind the top of the circle until the ball hits the rim, which didn't. But anyway, I tweeted, and this is really, game was stolen. I mean, this isn't the first one. This is, to me, the worst officiating in the history of the world. The Knicks and the Pistons game, when that no foul on the three-point shot, this is actually worse. Now, the answer will be that they don't call that. I guess that's the best defense. But it'd be better, as I say, if it was fixed. At least there'd be a reason for historically bad officiating. I mean, this is, and, all of which was necessary for the Pacers to win the game. When people say it's fixed, I don't have an argument. If my argument has to be, no, they're that bad, which they can't be. I mean, I know some things in college, like they never call 3 seconds, so maybe, I guess, they never call this. But at this point in the game, with the game like that, it seems to me you would have to call it then, as wrong as that is, because you should have the same rules the entire game. But don't there have to be some things at the end of the game where like, people see this. What are you supposed to think? Okay, it's fixed, or it's incredibly bad officiating. They show the official. I don't know if that's Jackson. I never gave officials' names ever. Is it 25? He's been doing games about 40 years. He's looking directly at Halliburton. So explain that. Pebble, can you explain it for me? What's the explanation?
I have no clue whatsoever.
I mean, they don't care. It doesn't matter. We don't call that. That's that rule. And as I said, everybody's accepted there are certain times of the game where they don't call it. They let them be more physical. But at this point in the game, and especially, here's what I would say. you might not call it right away, but then once he gets the ball on the rebound, then you call it. I know on some plays, if the basket is made, they won't call a foul. And then if the basket is missed, you'll get a late whistle. There could easily have been a late whistle on this. Or the time, they haven't shown this, the other one, where the player's running from behind and gets inside the three-point line long before the ball gets to the rim. So you don't call that right away. But once that player gets the ball and dunks it, as they did, then you blow the whistle and say, hey, late call. They violated the rule. They just stole the game. Jason Wilde next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We got plenty of delays all over the place. We've got a crash on westbound 894 in the Hale interchange, basically out of traffic. So just keep your eyes open for this. It's going to be a little bit on the tight side through there. Definitely on the eastbound side, too, starting to slow down from before Oklahoma Avenue down and around the Hale all the way to Loomis. We've got eastbound 94 backing up from the Highway F area all the way through Barker Road, back on the brakes from the zoo all the way to 35th Street. We do have northbound 43 with an accident right through the Marquette interchange. This one is off on the right shoulder, so should be able to get past it without too much of an issue. We do have delays, though, northbound from the Marquette all the way up towards Keith. And check the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight. Partly cloudy skies, breezy, a low of 42. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of 51 at the lake, 61 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jackson Churio Star Wars Night Bobble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers Cribbage Board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at Brewers.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Did you know that the phrase, "when is Mother's Day," is the most searched when phrase in the world? So just to be safe, let me remind you that Mother's Day is this Sunday. Yes, this Sunday. Need a bottle of wine or champagne for brunch? Or maybe a great gift idea? Remember, moms sacrificed so much for us, and it starts by going 9 months without alcohol. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960, we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for a great Mother's Day gift. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Happy Mother's Day.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe & Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Rainman is brought to you by Cousin Subs. The 2-foot party subs are back for a limited time. Order ham and provolone, turkey, or the Italian special. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Jason Wilde, more than any other time that he has come on this show, has a job. Good evening, Jason.
I have a job, but what's my job?
Well, I'm telling you right now, the Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, do you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl? 30% say yes. You need to tell whatever is necessary so that number gets down to about 15%. That's crazy. 30%?
They're optimistic people. Don't hold it against them.
I am. Well, I don't hold it against them, but that's why. No, that's why that's why you're going to help them in terms of assessing the Packers going into the season. My premise is twofold. They're crazy. And two, if the Packers were to win the Super Bowl, people need to understand how amazing that was. It's not like the Packers winning with Brett Favre. What? It'd be like the Badgers winning. What?
No, them winning the Super Bowl would not be like the Badgers winning the national championship.
No, I didn't finish. No, like the Badgers when they went to and won the first Rose Bowl with Barry Alvarez. That was a huge surprise. This would be a huge. You don't think so?
No, you're no.
They've been a 7th seed the last 2 years.
Right, and they won a Super Bowl as a 6th seed in 2010.
Right, and
right. No, stop. Just stop. You're as much as it pains me. First of all, just because 30% of people say yes doesn't mean that the Packers obviously have a 30% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
That's where I'm helping you, asking you to help out.
30% of fans think it's possible or think they will. Now, on top of that, like I can much more easily justify that the Packers are not going to win the Super Bowl and give a variety of reasons. But I don't think that it's in any way, shape, or form outlandish to try and to say that they will win the Super Bowl. I personally would not pick them, but I can understand why that 30% would think that they will.
Well, all right.
I think they've got a pretty good argument.
What is that argument? Right. Just out of curiosity.
There are some ifs that will be attached to it, obviously.
Oh, okay.
But their defense, 5th in total defense, 6th in scoring defense last year.
Correct.
If their pass rush does indeed improve from within, and with the 4th round and 5th round draft picks that they added, then their pass rush will be better. So that is a positive. If either Jair Alexander stays healthy, or more likely, the guys that they do have, Hobbs, Nixon, Carrington, Valentine, and whoever else they may or may not add, play at a good level, not a Hall of Fame level, not an all-pro level, but good level. I think they're good enough there. We know at safety they're good. We know that, I know I'm a bigger fan of Quay Walker than other people are, but Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, I think, have a chance to be a pretty damn good tandem. I'm not putting them in the Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw category from the last couple of years with the 49ers. Greenlaw has moved on now to the Broncos, but they have a chance to be pretty damn good. I understand there were a lot of ifs there. Now on offense, look, I still think that Wicks and Reed, if I use the Homer rule, and I know they're starting to age out of being considered young players, but if I use the Homer rule, both of those players have shown me some pretty special moments as wide receivers.
Reed more than anybody else.
Right? So,
Reed more than anybody else.
Yes. Right. So I believe that in year 3, they did not make the jump last year in year 2 that we all thought they would or that Packers fans hoped they would. They did not. Undeniable. But I think that's still a distinct possibility. I want to see Jordan Love when he's fully healthy. because while I think that is a crutch that was used too much by people that want to justify his performance or are Jordan Love apologists, I also would say that it is undeniable that it affected him at some level for much of the season. Now, that's part of playing in the National Football League, is playing through injury and still being productive. The two guys that came before him certainly did a great job of that. Jordan's still learning how to do that. But I think Jordan Love will be better this season than he was last season. I think he will be a meaningful, not significant, but a meaningful amount better. I am a huge Josh Jacobs believer. I do think they intend to run the ball the same way they did last year.
Which was the first season under LaFleur in which they ran more than they passed.
Yeah. Also the first season that they had Josh Jacobs. I mean, look, whether it was Matt LaFleur or Mike McCarthy before him, we all love Aaron Jones. I mean, the guy hugged me in the home locker room at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis when I went in to see him. Like, guys don't do that to reporters. We all love Aaron Jones. But one of the drawbacks to him that both those coaches felt was we have to make sure we don't go overboard with his workload because we don't want to lose him for an extended period. Josh Jacobs, they don't worry about that with. So I think they will look similar. Tucker Kraft is one of the best young tight ends, and he could be in a position to be able to remove the young part of that equation and just say he's one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So, and their offensive line, if you believe what they have done, has improved it by paying Aaron Banks, by opening up the left tackle competition to Jordan Morgan versus Rasheed Walker, then that group could be pretty good too. So, like, I don't think they're good. I don't think what they have on paper is good enough to be the favorite in the NFC to win the Super Bowl. But I think what they have is good enough for, if you are an optimistic thinking Packers fan, to have voted yes and be among that 30%.
The odds makers have.
Wait a minute. Wait, you can't move on.
No, you've made your defense. I'm not going to sit and argue with you. I asked you. I learned this from Chris Carter. Don't ask me my opinion. Then when I give it to you, tell me I'm wrong. Why'd you bring me on the show?
Did I influence you in any degree to be a little less harsh?
No, not at all. Because the assessment is the team versus the other competition that you have to go against. Are there better teams? And that's part of it.
How good is Detroit?
Better than the Packers, but could I see them passing the lines? Yes, that's where I said, to me, it would be a great season if the Packers win the division or get to the NFC Championship game. That would be a great season. That's, to me, how people should look at it. When you've been a number 7 seed, and that isn't even addressing the Eagles, and there's 0% chance that they will be as good as the Eagles if they played them in the playoffs. That's not even that, and they have to do other things just to get to that point. Then we haven't even discussed the AFC and whether they're good enough to beat the team they would play there. All those things would have to take place, and there is no belief, and can be no belief, based on the talent put together by Goody and the coaching by LaFleur, that they're capable of doing that, because they couldn't even do it when they had Aaron Rodgers.
I think you're very fair there.
Okay.
I would say that it's very difficult after a Super Bowl, win or lose, especially if you lose. But even when you win, it's tough to replicate that. I know the Kansas City Chiefs have made it look like it's easier than it actually is. And I don't know what to think of the Lions.
I agree.
Right? Because on the one hand, they're going to get all these guys that were hurt on their defense last year back. And I still think that they were better than the Eagles. I do. And had they had better injury luck last season, they would have been the NFC team in the Super Bowl. I firmly believe that. Now, they lost both their coordinators to head coaching jobs. And I was wrong about Dan Campbell, and I thought his shtick would wear thin. And it didn't. Those guys love him. He's won now. They made it to an NFC Championship game 2 years ago. Last year, they obviously had the number 1 seed and then lost to Washington. But I want to see if all the bravado and the kneecap biting and everything else still works when you don't have two guys that are both head coaches now as your two coordinators. So I don't know what to expect.
All right, we are going to continue this discussion. We have to break because TVV is waiting. But I
don't mind stepping aside for TVV.
I knew you would say that. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
The debate will continue. Got a lot of time for that. TVV next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe. June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Your Pell experience starts with a free in-home consultation.
It was a really comfortable kitchen table chat. We knew Pella was going to get it right the first time, and they designed a project with us. They didn't just replace our windows and doors.
There are so many options that are available, so it was nice to have someone narrow those down, and they made sure that the design was what we wanted.
Don't wait. Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2025.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen.
This is not about the Celtics. Everyone has made this about the Celtics. I am by no means a Knicks fan. The Knicks deserve so much credit for this win last night. They were down 20 points. They had their second best offensive player in foul trouble. Jalen Brunson, Mr. Clutch, Big Body Brunson as Kendrick Perkins calls him, missed a game-winning layup. Shot was probably too easy for him. Didn't affect them. They come back in overtime, and they outscore the Celtics by 3. Everyone is going to the Celtics lost this game. No. This is how Boston plays. They live by the 3. They die by the 3. Everyone wants them to change their game plan, but that's not the way they play. They won a championship last year relatively easily. It's never easy to win a championship.
Yeah.
But in comparison to other runs, they destroyed teams, right? To their credit. Doing it this way.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The three most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV. 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 TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Vooren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, three-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year, Hall of Fame wingman, all kinds of other awards. TVV, is there anything that you have compelling that you feel you need to lead with?
No.
Okay.
Direct answer.
My
No.
Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, do you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl this season? It is now at 72% no, 28% yes, which I think it should be like 10%. And Jason Wilde went out of his way to say, well, the fans aren't that far off. And I'm like, no, they are. Because if the Packers were to do it, I think everybody needs to understand how amazing that would be. So you take it from there, however you think it's appropriate.
It's all speculation. Obviously, I would be with the majority, and you're 72%. But we've been down this road, Homer. I don't want to be this voice of, well, of course. But, the Packers were 15-1. They were the best team in the league. They won the Super Bowl that year.
Right.
The year previous, they were the 6th seed. They stuck in. They won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So, that's what happens. You got to get in there. I think the Packers will get in there.
All right.
And then you take your chances.
They've been a 7th seed the last 2 years.
Yep.
It
felt pretty good. 2 years ago, 7th seed felt pretty good. Last year, 7th seed didn't feel good.
They gave it a run, but they also, to me, have a head coach that I've compared to Steve Mariucci, who never made the Super Bowl, got his team to the NFC Championship. You gotta sell something. And you, I want to give credit, all last season, were the person going, calm down, come on. Because you look at them and something special would have to happen for me to justify the 30% or now 28%. Like Jordan Love becomes this great quarterback, or somebody on the defense becomes, tilts the field. I guess Jacobs, but I'm not sold on Jacobs as much because I don't think, and I've been told I'm wrong on this, so I'll defer to you. I don't think Matt LaFleur is a run it down their throat guy.
The reliance on Jacob robbed their offensive innovation last year. It was a move to this is the new NFL. The Packers embraced it. They had a lot of success with Josh Jacobs. I commend Josh Jacobs for his durability, his production, all those things. They, obviously would feel he was a terrific signing. By the same token, their offense was not exciting or electric or dynamic last year, and it needed more of that, particularly down the stretch. So if they're going to be special this year, it's going to have to be that again, and then get this shot in the arm of Christian Watson coming back, with 2 games to go in the regular season and adding to it. That's the kind of thing that could put the Packers over the top if they're in the right position at that point. I would still have reservations as we sit here today about their overall roster, but that's, to me, partially because the NFC looks so good to me across the board in so many areas.
And I look at, and I want you to assess this, but everybody talks about Philly in the running game, but they had some wide receivers.
They had some wide receivers, and Barkley caught the ball a ton out of the backfield, and Hurts ran more than Jordan Love did.
And more than Jordan Love will ever. Correct?
I would think.
Yeah.
I would think. But if Jordan Love recaptures 2023 second half of the season, give me that any day if I'm a Packer fan. So, he's had it in him. That sample size has not been reflected by his overall 2 seasons of starting. But if he could bottle that back up, any Packer fan would take that. So if he plays to that level, the Packers would be terrific. He would be better than Jalen Hurts if he plays to that level.
Yes. Now, I said, am I missing anything else that you want to discuss? Maybe you can put some discussion on Giannis going somewhere else, because I admit all this stuff, most of it is made up, especially if it says Giannis wants to move on. He hasn't said that. His agent hasn't. But I think it's all accurate and that people should follow it because it's legitimate to consider that as a possibility. I say because anybody looking at it objectively would tell Giannis to ask to go somewhere else. Doesn't mean I want that to happen, but you take it from there.
Here's how I asked Here's how we started the Fox 6 Sports Blitz the other Sunday night. The other night, I asked Brandon Cruz and Lily Zhao, and now I'll ask you the same question, Homer. Do you go into this offseason viewing the Giannis status in Milwaukee any different than in off seasons in the past?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, why?
Because I think the team is in a situation in terms of the rules and finances where it's reasonable for Giannis to think that they're not going to be very good, not only for this year, but maybe for a couple years. And does he want to be a part of that? There has not been. When was the last time the Bucks went into a season with expectations as low as they're going to be this year based on the team they're going to have returning for all the financial aspects that only you can explain regarding the rules of the NBA?
I think it's a great point. You described them as massive limitations when you and I were talking here last week. I agree with you. They've made the playoffs every year of the John Horst general manager era. They have had higher expectations every year than I would expect them to have going into the next season because they're so hamstrung. What could they possibly do? So, to me, if you view then this offseason differently, it's because you think the team is not going to be able to compete at the same level. So is the team then pushing for a move, or is Giannis then seeking a move in his interpretation of where this team can be?
There is no way I believe the team is stupid enough to want to move Giannis. He's the best of all worlds. I'll put together whatever I can with young players, whatever. I don't want Giannis to leave. Fans love him. The question is, if I'm Giannis, I want out. But Giannis, the real Giannis, is nicer than me. I'm hoping they can convince him to stay one more year or whatever. There's no reason, and he's given Milwaukee everything, there's no reason he should want to come back given the alternatives that would be out there. But I'm hoping he doesn't look at it that way. But no, I would be shocked. I will defer to you on this. If the Bucks in any way showed any interest in wanting him to move.
How many seasons? I would. Let me just start and stop with a decisive answer like I gave you when we started this segment, Homer. The Bucks should never want to move Giannis Antetokounmpo, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't care if he's 50.
Comes to them,
I want him to play at 50.
Them, it's a different discussion.
Yes.
How many season ticket holders do you know who go to a game and are so depressed if Giannis is inactive that night? And he's not inactive that much. He's particularly on home games.
Everyone.
But that's what it's about. It's the Bucks and it's Giannis. It's not the same thing. It's two different things.
Yes.
And you can't willingly change that by moving them out if you're the Milwaukee Bucks in my mind. You could get 10 draft choices, and none of the 10 would approach the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo as a player or as a man or as an ambassador for your team.
But you have to also agree that if Giannis said he wanted to leave, you would totally understand it.
You absolutely would have to understand it and honor that request, in my opinion.
I don't think he can do it, and I'm hoping he can. Come on, Giannis, 1 year with a new young team. What?
He's given no indication of that.
I know. Yes, of course. And I don't. That's the question. How is he, how would he do it or whatever? But, yeah. All right. More time next week, TVV.
See you, Homer.
Weekly Wager is next. Yeah, I want to put a bet on Cleveland to win the series. Ref's got to give him one game. Got to even it out.
We've got delays. Southbound 43, pretty hefty from before Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette down to